Hey guys, Static here, and in today's dungeon guide we're going to be covering Veteran Hard Mode Crypt of Hearts 2. Right off the bat here, let's talk about some of the adds in this dungeon. A lot of the mobs are ranged and there's a bunch of healers, so you want to interrupt healers, you want to chain in ranged adds if you have a DK tank, and then you have these flesh atronachs. They do an overhead smash that will CC you, so you can just dodge roll that or block that. Other than that, no big deal. This boss has a couple of mechanics. He starts with a couple healers around him. You want to burn them down immediately. He does do negates, which you see right there. So you have to watch out for that. And also he'll be doing a ring of frost on the ground. You don't want to be standing inside of the outer lip of that ring. You can be in the center and you're fine, or the outside and you're fine, but you don't want to be in the actual ring there. A lot of adds will form during this fight, so it's a good idea for your tank to start pulling the boss to the back of the room. That way they can get some DPS on them as well. As you see, they're going to summon an Atronach here, so it's a good idea to have the boss near the back of the room so everything gets damaged and you're not going to have too much trouble with it. There's also these Ogrims in this dungeon. You have to watch out for them. They have like a belly bounce attack and they can also charge. But the main thing to keep in mind is, even if you kill them immediately with mega DPS, they're always going to summon two adds. It can either be two casters, two melee, or it can be one of each. This boss here has an interesting mechanic. The first thing he's going to do is he can put out a big red AoE, and that actually chases one member. As you can see, he puts it on the tank here. He doesn't really need to run out of it, but if your tank is a little squishy, or if it's on a DPS or a healer, you're going to want to kite it. The next thing that he can do is, as you see here, Wiko gets wrapped. It'll be at random. He spits web on someone. You got to run up, use a synergy to unwrap them. Other than that, there's nothing really too special here. Now we have this Guardian here. Now he puts out a ghost that will fear you. The interesting thing to keep in mind is if you do get hit by that fear, that's when the skeletons will arrive. You can dodge roll or sidestep that fear, and if you do that, there won't be any adds on this boss. The adds melt relatively quickly, so it's not that big of a deal. But it is interesting that if you do dodge roll it, you manage to step out of the way. You'll never have any adds on this fight. Now on to the Ilambris boss. Now the twins that get summoned here, you can either burn them down together or just pick one and burn one down. It doesn't really matter. When they get low on HP, they're going to turn and summon the main boss regardless. Now the boss here, he has a few mechanics. One is his just ground stomp AoE. He will have adds come up with him. They kind of just passively die through AoE. Now he will make a couple of huge AoE attacks, which is storms. Right here you see a lightning storm. Later on in the fight, he also does a firestorm as well. He kind of does them back and forth at random. And if you're really unfortunate with low DPS and the fight drags on long enough, it is possible to get both fire and lightning storm, so it can be a handful. As you near this large open corridor to the next boss, you want to kind of bum rush down to the end. A lot of adds will be coming out, and if your tank can get down there and get the initial aggro, everything stays nice and bunched up, and you don't have to worry about everything being all spread all over the place. This fight can be a real pain unless you follow these mechanics exactly. So the biggest thing is you want to be across from each other. It's very important. She has a mechanic where she pulls you all in, and you need to spin your camera immediately and look for a safe place for you to dodge roll to. You're going to get red circles all over the ground and around each player. You cannot have your body in any two circles. That goes for the circles on the ground or another player's circles. You cannot have your body inside the circles. You can overlap the circles, but you can't be physically inside of any two circles, or it's an instant death. So Nerien'eth has a few mechanics. He has a skull he throws at someone random, which you can block or dodge roll. He has chains that shoot up out of the ground, as we'll see here. And he also has a teleport. So just avoid these chains. If you get hit by 2 of them, it could be death. 1 doesn't hurt too bad, but just try and avoid them. The teleport is important, that as soon as he teleports to a member, you're going to want to dodge roll or sprint away, because the giant red AoE that comes out is deadly. The next mechanic involves the students and or wraiths. Nerien'eth will teleport to these grates, and he'll summon up students, which then turn into wraiths. Your tank has to take those wraiths through taunting away from Nerien'eth so they don't get damage. You don't want the AoE damage to burn them down. Reason being, to get a gold key or 2 keys from a gold pledge, you'll need to have 4 wraiths alive at 35% HP of Nerien'eth. At 35% HP, he will go to the middle of the room and he will attempt to pull this sword. Your tank over in the side will have his 4 wraiths. You need to keep them alive until he completely finishes his animations. Very important. Now you can burn them down, and then you can focus on finishing the fight with Nerien'eth. Now, very important, he's going to pin one member down. He's going to get a giant shield on his health. You have to burn through this shield to save the member who he has, or else he will execute them. Other than that, the only mechanics your tank needs to watch for is heavy attacks, and he will turn and do a little knockback like he did right there. Other than that, it's just burning through shields during the execute phase and trying to clean up on DPS. Thanks for checking out the video, guys. Please smash that like and subscribe button below for future content releases. I really appreciate the support everybody's been showing me. So I want to just say thank you to each and every one of you. It really means a lot to me. See you guys later and catch you next time.